Welcome to the Native Diamond Podcast.
Oh, shit! What you waiting for?
Please don't forget to like the video, hit subscribe, ring the bell. That way you're notified every time I drop a new episode of Native Diamond Podcast. What's up, guys? I'm Seth Mick. This is Native Diamond Podcast. I have Pablo, the guitarist of Irist. They just dropped their new album, Order of the New Mind, which is out now. And you guys just signed with Nuclear Blast Records, so that's really exciting.
Yeah. That was, I think it would have been maybe 2019. If we're in 2020 right now, I'm super disoriented, but yeah, it was right before we went in to record this last album. We signed with Nuclear Blast. So
that's awesome. Were you guys really stoked on that?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. We were talking to them for a little while, so kind of felt like we were in a limbo state there for a minute, but we finally signed and got to the UK pretty quickly after we signed with them, and here we are.
Cool. All right, so I figured I'm gonna ask you a couple icebreaker questions, because I don't want it to be too formal or whatever. So this is just to kind of get to know you as a person. All right, so first question. All I ask is you just say the first thing that comes to mind. Don't put a lot of thought into these, okay? They're really stupid. All right, so first question: crunchy or creamy peanut butter?
Crunchy.
Crunchy, okay. Metallica or Slayer?
Oh shit, Slayer.
Wall of Death or Circle Pit?
Circle Pit.
Cats or dogs?
Oh man, dogs.
Okay.
I love cats. So.
Right. Horror movie or comedy?
Horror movie.
All right, so favorite horror villain?
Oh god. How about Creature from the Black Lagoon?
Oh, no one says that. That's a good one. Best guitarist ever.
Oh, jeez, dude.
Yeah, I know. I'm killing you.
Woo. I don't know about that one, man. Just because I'm old, David Gilmour, man. I don't know.
That's still good.
Yeah, I'm actually. I grew up playing drums, man. So that's a little tough for me. I never got super attached to any guitar players.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
No, you're good. Breakdown or solo?
Solo.
Cool. Marvel or DC Comics?
I was a Marvel guy when I was younger, so.
Okay, so who's your favorite Marvel guy?
Jesus. And this is me collecting like fucking little Marvel with like comic cards when I was a kid. Yeah. But what would have been maybe, Silver Surfer maybe.
Cool. Yeah. Man, you got some good answers. Like
Yeah, so you're putting me on the spot, man.
Hey, it's what it's about. Okay, last but not least, favorite brand of hot sauce?
Ooh, that's a good one. Probably Cholula.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. That's my favorite, man. Yeah. And I'm not just saying that. All right, so that's all I got. That's all the random ones I got. So hopefully the listeners and viewers, they get to know a little bit more about you as a person.
Yeah, I'm trying to get this down, man.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
Sorry, dude. Cool.
All right, so I have to ask, now that you guys have signed, do you finally feel like you made it as a musician?
Maybe. We're kind of still doing the same thing. We're still writing songs. I guess the obvious thing that we're not doing right now is touring or really playing any shows, just like everybody else. So that part is a little weird and unexpected, so but yeah, I mean, we're happy about it. We're appreciative. We're feeling good. We are fortunate enough to have a writing space where we're in quarantine basically. So we've been writing more material and putting more songs together for the past several weeks. So we're still pretty much doing the same thing. And so in that sense, we're happy and we feel pretty good about what we're doing, and we're just waiting to be able to get out of here and get on the road, man. You know,
Yeah.
we just finished. We're you know, obviously we're happy we're able to put the album out, because I think it was close to getting postponed just because the release date was right as all this coronavirus pandemic started happening. So at least the album is out, but the next obvious thing is going to be for us to get out on the road and play shows and promote it. So we're just waiting and trying to stay occupied in the meantime, man.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Yeah. And, you know, as I mentioned before, it's cool that I'm basically the place where we're in quarantine is our writing space. So we're able to stay busy and able to keep working. Mm-hmm. So we're pretty lucky in that regard.
Do you guys see each other often now with this stuff going on, or? Yeah.
I mean, we're locked in here together, basically.
Oh, okay.
So,
cool.
So we see each other every day, and basically just write songs every day. You know, I had all this material kind of collected right before all this stuff started happening. So we've been diving into some of that and putting together songs and stuff like that, you know.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself and your role in the band.
Well, I play guitar, and our initial demos when we're writing, I'll usually put those together at my house, and I'll put like drums on them and bass and pretty much everything except for vocals. So I usually write our initial demos, and then I show them to the rest of the guys, and we kind of dive in deeper at Adam's house. He's our other guitar player. He built this big like studio in his basement. So usually after I do those demos, we go there and we just tear them apart and we start, you know, piecing them together in different ways and stuff. So, but yeah, so basically the short answer is I play guitar and I write a lot of the stuff that we record.
That's awesome. So, you know, I'm curious, where did the name come from? Like, what does it mean to you guys?
Yeah, Rodrigo came up with it. The thing that was appealing was that it doesn't mean anything. So we kind of we thought it was, you know, of course a little strange at first, but then we figured we would just kind of give it meaning with you know, with the music and the imagery and just the vibe of the band. And we realized that we'll take a little bit of time, but I don't know, every name that came up before that automatically like put a picture in your head.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you're gonna judge us, or we're gonna judge, or if you just see the name, you're gonna come to certain conclusions without like listening to the music or looking at artwork. So we thought it was kind of cool to just pick something that looked bland and kind of abstract, and you know, whether you combine it with artwork or something else, then it kind of takes on its own meaning. So that was basically the reason for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad name by any means.
Yeah. Cool.
So, you know, I'm going to ask you a little bit about the album. We'll kind of touch on it a little bit, but so what are some themes that you guys are trying to get across, basically?
So I wish Rodrigo was here to answer that one. Vocalist, but yeah. The general theme is like overcoming barriers, and that's like physical barriers, mental barriers. So a lot of his lyrics on this album were a little bit dark, but I think that the way that he put all the lyrics together kind of complement the music in a way, because even though there's a lot of like dark phrases and just dark writing in general when it comes to the lyrics, you know, there's still like a lot we feel like there's like moments of hope or celebration in some of the music. So it kind of goes back and forth between, you know, being kind of moody and dark, and then kind of, I don't know, giving you a breath of fresh air or something. I don't know. So, but that's the gist of, or at least what he's told me is the gist of what he writes about, or at least for this album, what he wrote about.
Okay, cool. So you guys leave it kind of up to him to write?
Yeah, as far as the lyrics go, that's pretty much Rodrigo. Like when we're in the middle of writing songs, like sometimes we may suggest like, adding another syllable here and there just to kind of work with the music better. But yeah, that's all him, man.
That's really cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So where are you originally from?
I'm from Argentina originally.
Okay.
So I came here when I was like 3 years old, and we went back a lot, like to visit. And then during high school, I went and I did like a year of high school over there. So I've kind of been back and forth my whole life, my whole family is there except for my parents and my brother. They live here around Atlanta. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't get back too much nowadays, because it's so far away.
Yeah.
And well, now for obvious reasons, you can't really go anywhere. But yeah, man, that's where I'm from.
That's awesome. I'm half Filipino. My mom's from the Philippines. So I have to ask, how hard, is it for you and your family to adjust to the United States? Like, was it really weird?
Yeah, it was. I have vivid memories of like when we came here and everything, as young as I was. But yeah, it was a struggle, like it was, I think, for most people coming here. We had planned to come for like a couple of years. My mom was just going to go and I think she was going to get like her master's degree or something. And I don't know if there was a specific reason that we stayed. I think it was just kind of like one thing kind of led to another. She found a job. At that time, it was like the early 90s, late 80s. It was easier to get like a green card, so, but yeah, it was hard, at least maybe certain things were easier for me because I came here so young, but, we still, we always spoke in Spanish at home. My dad was like really big on, not letting me lose the language and the cultural side of things, so that's another reason we would always go back and visit, so and I feel lucky that I was able to be raised with two languages, because I'm comfortable in Spanish, comfortable in English, and I know about where I come from, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
But I've adjusted. Yeah, I don't know if it was the same for you. Did you say? Well, your mom's from the Philippines. You said, right?
Yeah, I was born here, so I'm full on gringo, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've adjusted. Like, I'm originally from California, and I moved to I live in North Carolina near Charlotte. Cool. So, yeah, it's kind of weird because it's like kind of the South, but not really. And
yeah. So we moved to Athens, which is like an hour and a half from Atlanta, where I am right now. And so it's a college town, so it's kind of maybe the same thing. It's deep in the South, but it's an exception. It's more progressive, and there's really good music and art there. So we got pretty lucky, and because my mom was like involved in like the university, we had friends from like all over the world. We could kind of keep up with other people from Argentina and from Latin America and stuff. So yeah, it was kind of easier for us to keep up our culture and moving here. So it was all right. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys are in Atlanta right now, right? You're based out of Atlanta. Okay.
Yeah.
So how? Can you kind of explain how like Corona is hitting you guys right now, or is that something you want to talk about?
Yeah. So we're all healthy, so that's the first thing. So, but we're just stuck, man. I think we're generally like feeling pretty positive because we still have a ton of stuff to do. Aside from the writing that I mentioned, we have just like little social media stuff and we're still trying to focus on stuff that maybe will happen in the fall. So we're still, we're not just sitting here as spectators. We're still trying to stay active in some ways. Even though things may get canceled later in the year, we're still trying to make plans for the near future. But yeah, it's just weird, man. Like three of us are stuck together, and we're the ones that are really doing all the writing and stuff right now. Bruno, our bass player, he's quarantined himself in his house, so we don't really see him. We just talk on the phone and stuff. But I think we've adjusted okay. We're all pretty antsy in general, so this obviously isn't helping. But but I don't know, man. It could be worse. We have nice weather here. We're able to stay busy and stuff. We're all healthy right now, but yeah, we're just ready to get out, man. So trying to stay positive about all this crazy shit.
Have you guys gone out to the grocery store? Or do you guys send someone to do that for you?
We try not to. There was a couple of weeks ago where we stocked up pretty good. We went to Costco and just bought a bunch of stuff. So we're, trying to do our best and stay, socially responsible. But yeah, just a weird time. How about you?
I mean, I tried to stockpile as much as I could. I haven't been to the store in 2 weeks, but I'm a chef and I still work. So if I need something, man, I just get it from the restaurant. I'll just get it off the order. I had that going for me.
Yeah, cool.
Well, thanks for asking. So, what can we do as fans right now to, help you and other bands? What do you guys suggest?
Just buy merch if you can, buy merch if you can. Keep listening to the music. There's only so much you can do right now. But yeah, in our case, I'd just say if you're into the music, we have a Bandcamp and all the usual stuff. But and hopefully when this all passes, if you're into the tunes, maybe come see us on tour.
Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to ask that. So I'm going to try to plug your merch and your Bandcamp links. I'll plug that with the show as well. So the fans that are listening, you guys can purchase something, help these guys out. Your album is phenomenal, by the way. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks, dude. Thank you, man.
So is there anything that you're obsessed with, or what are you passionate about other than guitar? What has been occupying your time?
Dude, honestly, that's all it's been. That's been the last probably couple of months. Even before all the coronavirus pandemic stuff. Other than that, we just that's what we do all day, man. Maybe take a walk, get out and take a walk, and listen to some records or something. But right now, I think, at least for me personally, if I don't focus on one thing every day, I'll get carried away and my mind will wander and I'll lose my sense of time. There was one day where I wasn't. We took a break. I think one of the dudes had to do something, so I didn't have anything to do all day. So I think I just got on Netflix that day, but it was the longest day I can remember. By the end of the day, I was I completely lost track of what was going on. I was was this morning last week? What's going on right now? Yeah. But so right now I'm really just trying to stay focused on that, just for my own mental sanity,
Dude, that's awesome.
So
a big part of playing music is finding your own sound or whatever. Do you feel like you've accomplished that with your guitar playing?
Yeah, well, that's never ending. That's never ending. There's yeah, I mean, I'm happy about certain things, but I'm always one of those guys that's just messing with different guitar pedals and trying to get the guitar to sound like something else. And the hard thing for me, and maybe for other musicians, is I'm more in this band. I'm more concerned about like finding something that's going to work with the song. Like I've got tons of crazy noise pedals, fuzz pedals, or whatnot that I can, do some really cool stuff with and have a lot of fun with. But at the end of the day, like, I mean, there's been times where I've put all kinds of crazy experimental sounds on a demo, and then I'll sit on it for a few days, and I'm like, man, this is too much. So for me, I think I'm happy that I can kind of take a step back and not just make things sound super bloated, So in that, I guess just having come to that approach, I'm proud of, just that kind of restraint that I try to have. But yeah, that's never ending, man. The playing, the seeking different tone seeking, and finding different just ways to approach the guitar, and like I mentioned, like making it sound like something else, like using different guitar pedals. That's every day, man. That's that's the fun. So
like when you record your guitar part, are you guys like, are you recording like the amp, or are you like plugging it into an interface? Like, what do you?
No, we use on the album. It was all we mic'd up a cab and did it.
Nice.
I guess the old-fashioned way. Sometimes when we're writing, if we want to get something done quickly, we'll plug into the interface and use plugins. But when I'm writing at home, I always use an amp and a bunch of pedals. Like that's typically how I'll start putting together the parts for a song. So we use a little of both, but for when it comes time to actually record a song, and like after a few months, if we've been working on a demo for a really long time and there's something that we just can't get with plugins, then we'll mic up a cab, and that's my comfort zone. So I would always rather do that,
Yeah. Do you guys feel like you're more like old fashioned, or do you feel like you're more modern metal? What do you think?
I think old fashioned at heart, man. I've tried to be flexible about some of the, like you were talking about, like plugging into an interface and using plugins just for simplicity. But at the end of the day, we want organic. We want, if something is going to sound a little processed or modern, we want to use guitar pedals. We don't always want to just use some stock plug-in or preset. So that's our approach. If something absolutely needs like to be if it, like, I'm trying to think of an example. Like on the album, there's been a time or two where the drums needed to sound just processed. So yeah, in situations like that, we'll use some crazy plug-in and get fancy with little studio wizardry. But yeah, most of the time we try to keep things as natural as possible, and natural drum sounds, and that's kind of our approach to everything when it comes to writing and recording.
Have you checked out like any new metal albums, or do you not really listen to any new metal at all?
No, I do, man. I actually last night we were listening to the new Oranzi Pazuzu. I think those dudes are on Nuclear Blast too. And I was honestly, I think we heard that album like they just released it yesterday, so we were like binging on it for like 3 hours. I was introduced to those guys through Rodrigo, actually, and dude, it's so good. So I'm probably going to be listening to that for a few days at least.
Nice.
And other than that, what's the last thing? There's this other band called Cultura Tres. These dudes are from, I think they're from Venezuela. And I want to say they live in Europe now, but I could be wrong about that. But they're really great. Those guys are good. It's like, I guess they generally be considered a sludge band, but they put in all these cool rhythms, and you'd have to listen to it, but it's awesome. And Rodrigo introduced me to those guys as well. So yeah, if anybody's listening and wants to check them out, you should. It's Cultura Tres.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll try to plug those links. I'll try to find those and plug those links below so people can hear that.
Cool, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm a big proponent of modern metal, and that's kind of the whole thing with my podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like in the metal community, it's not very well represented by like younger people. I mean, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
old by any means or whatever. I'm 29,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of interviewers are like 40, 50, and I just kind of
Yeah.
feel like some of them are out of touch and they ask really stupid fucking questions and and I just wanted to like kind of freshen it up, and I was like, well, I just want to give my parts back to the community that I take a lot from. So this
That's
is me
awesome, dude.
giving back. I don't do this shit for money or anything. I do it because I like it,
That's awesome, man.
well, thanks. So if there's one message that you would like to convey to your fans or whatever, like that you are all about yourself, what would you like to say? Like, are you a huge proponent of, I'll just give an example, like suicide
Mm-hmm.
awareness or mental health awareness or anything like that?
Uh, yeah, right. Yes, for both of those things. But just to stay a little more current, I'm a huge proponent of washing your fucking hands and staying home. Because yeah, we're in Georgia right now. We're in Atlanta, so I think everybody's been pretty good about staying home, and shit hasn't gotten too crazy here. But I know that's got a lot to do with the fact that they put in the stay at home ordinance, and people are, I think, for the most part, being pretty compliant with all the recommendations. So stay the fuck home.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, seriously. So like, what would you tell, an upcoming metal band? Because you guys kind of just did that and grinded out and finally got the major label signing that you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
What would you tell an inspiring metal band that is trying to make it, I guess?
Just the simple things are just to work hard, man. Just like with anything else, I don't think there's any big secrets. One thing that we did that helped us out a lot, that's maybe a little more specific, is we took a lot of time to put together our first EP. We took like at least a year of doing it like almost every day, writing songs and polishing songs almost every day. And then we saved up a lot of money and got a guy to mix it who we were actually fans of. Like, we didn't mix it ourselves or we didn't compromise the mix. And that dude, it turns out that guy shared that EP with Nuclear Blast. Not that is going to happen every time, but part of it was us just like, being patient and, yeah, like I said, just finding a producer, a mixer who you're actually, whose work you actually admire. And, yeah, I mean, if you're going to take the time to write songs that you actually think are good, and you give those songs to the wrong person, to the wrong producer, or somebody mixes it who doesn't get what you're doing, then it's almost it's for nothing. You put all that work in for nothing. So we took, when we were done with those demos for our EP, we took a while before we found somebody who we thought would actually do those songs justice, and we kind of just kept the same approach with the songs for this album. We're very picky in general, but yeah, that's what I'd say to any young band. If you've got songs that you really feel strongly about, just make sure you find somebody to record them who is not going to fuck them up, that's gonna and just be patient about it. So, but aside from that, just the usual, man. Just staying focused, working hard, being stubborn about it. Don't let people discourage you. Stuff we still try to do now. We'll always try to do.
Right. So I want to ask you this question. I kind of ask it on the show kind of often, but like, okay, so like there is like a starving artist mentality where some people believe that making money is a bad thing or selling out, that sort of thing. So how do you feel about that take? Being in the music business, what's your take on that?
I think most people just don't know that there's not, especially in this genre, there's no money. There's no money to be made. You know what I mean? We're still doing most of the shit ourselves. There's of course there's huge like legacy bands that were around. They've been around for a long time when there was a music industry, but now, yeah, that's all changed, man. You have to do things on your own. It's a grind for everybody. Whether you're signed to, like in our case, Nuclear Blast or most other labels, you have to. Yeah, like I mentioned, we're still doing most of this ourselves. The demos, the shoot, and everything. So yeah. I'm sorry, man. I forgot what your original question was.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I was just wondering, I was just trying to touch on like, the current state of metal.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like a question I ask on the show a lot. So,
Mhm.
Is there any like current metal trends that you're seeing a lot of, like a lot of metal bands are doing?
I'm not sure, man. I think right now everything, at least the way I see it, it's pretty cool because it seems like everything's become, uh, people are just mixing different styles together now, and I see a lot of experimentation with like hardcore bands, which is really cool. Um, uh, I like that. I like to see the different branches of metal combining with each other and drawing from, I don't know, from shoegaze or whatever. That's always refreshing to me. And when bands do it right and um, just put different pieces together and then come up with something new. I feel like it's to me it's refreshing. Back when I was growing up, it was easier to categorize bands and to uh, just things are much more boxed in. You know what I mean? So I've kind of embraced the direction that heavy music has gone, and I like it. Part of that's what we do. We try to combine different elements from other styles of music and put them together in our own way. And so I like to see the same thing in other bands. Those are the bands that I think I gravitate towards. Um, so yeah, I think there's probably there's still throwback bands and that's cool too. But yeah, it seems like everything's up for grabs now. It's people are more open minded in general with music. So I think it's cool.
Do you like hardcore music?
Rodrigo's a big hardcore guy in our band. I do, but he's the expert. He's our encyclopedia of hardcore. He grew up. He listened to a lot of hardcore bands in Brazil growing up, so he'll throw bands my way and stuff. But yeah, I wish he was here to talk to you about that. Are you a hardcore guy?
Honestly, like I kind of came up in the scene. It was probably like early 2000s. So like, I was younger. I was way younger, dude. So like I liked fucking bands like A Day to Remember, and that's kind of, those like easy core type bands got me into heavier music. For me it was like The Devil Wears Prada and like early Bring Me the Horizon and shit like that. Shit that I don't really care about now, but those bands helped me get into heavier stuff for sure.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, for me, I think Sepultura was probably the band that got me into heavy music. I was listening to like, I grew up in the '90s, so I was listening to a lot of grunge and stuff and classic rock from my dad. But yeah, my gateway band was definitely Sepultura, early Sepultura.
I see that a lot in your guys' music. I see that it's a huge influence. Yeah, I see it for sure. Do you guys like Mastodon?
Yeah. They're from here in Atlanta, so we grew up. Well, I didn't grow up listening to them because they weren't really around, but we of course we came across them later on, and yeah, they're great. We actually rehearse, or we were rehearsing at this what is it, like a no, just rehearsal studios that they have here in Atlanta, that one of the dudes from Mastodon owns. But yeah, we had to leave like a few weeks ago just because. Yeah, I don't know if we can afford it right now. So I think we're going to be rehearsing it at Adam's place, our other guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man.
All right, so I'm a chef or whatever, so I'm gonna ask you a couple food questions or whatever. So like, what is a weird like food dish that you saw coming in America? You're like, whoa, that's fucking just what the hell are you guys eating?
Man, I don't know. I eat everything, man. I'm not a picky guy. So if it was weird, if I did come across something weird like that, I probably wouldn't think too much of it.
Right.
Geez. I'm not sure. Well, what was one for you?
I mean, octopus is kind of not weird, but when I ate it, I was like, this is fucking weird, and like I don't really care for it. But that was my thing. But like I can do like calamari and shit like that. But I think it was just the texture. But I like oysters. I'm not.
Yeah. Actually, I have one. Bruno, he plays bass in our band. His dad he went back to Chile, where they're from. He just went on vacation, and he brought him back like what was it, like horse jerky.
Oh
yeah, and I think that's fucking weird, man. Like I remember my grandfather in Argentina would always talk about a horse being like a working animal, and you shouldn't eat it, and that kind of stuck in my head. Plus, it's a fucking horse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. For some reason, that doesn't really sit well with me. The whole horse jerky thing.
That's really weird, man.
Yeah.
God. Yeah, I had a friend. He was in the military. He was talking about going to China, and he had to eat like a bull's cock. He had to eat like a bull's cock, and he was like, he had to eat it because they presented it to him, and it's like rude as fuck if you don't take it.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, man,
you got to go with the flow when you're traveling.
Yeah.
In Rome.
What's your go-to meal? Like, what do you guys like to eat a lot? Are you guys on a strict diet or anything?
No, not really. And actually, another reason I wish you were talking to Rodrigo is we almost consider him like the chef of the band. He's a food guy. He loves cooking different things. So I'm basically eating whatever he's making, man.
Oh yeah.
We do a lot of barbecues in his backyard, but yeah, no, right now, no particular diet. And since I'm here, since I'm not really in my home, I just kind of eat whatever everybody else is eating. Try not to be too picky,
Mm-hmm. Are you guys like all family guys, or you guys all married and stuff?
A couple of us are. I'm not, and yeah, I think like half of us. Everybody else is, flying solo.
Oh, cool. Well, all the single ladies out there listening, Pablo is single, so we'll plug a link below. No.
Oh man.
What dating website are you on? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, dude.
I'm just fucking with you. So what do you think about the future of metal? Like, where do you see it like phasing out at any point, or do you think it's always going to be around?
Oh, it'll always be around, man. Always be around. People are, I think it has the most faithful fans. Some guy we were talking to the other day said that he thought metal and jazz will be the genres that just never go away because of the fans. It's just, even if it's not the most popular thing, people are just incredibly faithful and stick with the bands that they love.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, I really do. I think it'll always be around.
What got you into heavy bands? Like, what are some memorable albums for you, like, coming up?
Well, Sepultura was the band that got me into heavier music, and I mean, Chaos AD was the album that they put out that really like sort of blew me away and got me into their earlier stuff, and then got me into other heavy bands. So that probably would have, that single album probably would have been it for me. Chaos AD. I was, like I mentioned before, like I was listening to some of the the grunge stuff before that, and always listening to like just classic rock, prog rock from my dad, and like old music from like folk music from Argentina, and a bunch of Latin stuff. But yeah, I mean, thinking back, that would have been the album that got me, that kind of lit the fire for me, you know. And from then it just kind of spread into everything else.
Which vocalist do you like more? Do you like Max or do you like Derek?
Yeah, I like the old stuff, man.
Yeah.
I just, yeah, that to me was special. That was like the lineup I fell in love with, and I think they're still good. You know, I think they're still good now. I saw them a long time ago, like right when they changed vocalists, and I still thought it was good. But I mean, I'm just used to it. I got attached to, you know, that album, that lineup, all the previous albums. So that's what I love, man. You know. So, but yeah, I'm glad they're still making music. You know, that they put out. I think it was called Quadra.
Quadra, yeah.
Yeah. So I was listening to that a few weeks ago. I thought it's pretty good. Like,
yeah, it's pretty good.
A lot, pretty technical or it sounds more technical to me, anyways, than some of the stuff they've done in these past recent years.
Yeah.
Did you listen to it?
Yeah, I actually reviewed it.
Oh, no way.
It was good, yeah. I liked it. Yeah, I mean, I like the old school vibe better, and the newer stuff, it just sounds like they're just trying to keep up with the times, in my opinion. But I mean, it's good. I'm not hating on it by any means. I like that band. So any other modern metal bands that you've been listening to? Do you guys like Trivium? Do you guys like Nightwish?
We actually the reason we went to the UK to record was basically because of this band Conjure out of the UK. They're on Nuclear Blast now, and we love that band. We heard their last album they put out called Meyer, and it was just fucking good. It was just really good, and the drums on it were amazing, like the drum sound. So that's kind of the biggest reason we decided to record where we did, because the drums just sounded fucking enormous. They just sounded good. They sounded organic but modern. But yeah, we kept listening to Conjure, and like I guess, you know, they're a current band, and most of us in the band like those guys. Aside from them, I'm not sure, man. I listen to a lot, or right now anyways, like a lot of the just like post metal bands. You know, I'll go through my little phases though. Like just like that band I mentioned earlier, Cultura Tres. Those guys kind of have like that post vibe, and who else? Like, I'm a big Cult of Luna fan. But yeah, I mean, whatever comes my way that I think is good, I'll listen to, man. I wish I could think of. What about you? Any modern metal bands that you're following?
Yeah, actually, you know, because of the podcast, I've checked out a lot. Like, my thing on the show is I review a lot. Like, that's kind of my main thing.
Right.
I review like whatever's incoming or whatever. But I just did the Nightwish album. I really enjoyed that. I'm really looking forward to the Trivium album that's about to drop, What the Dead Men Say. I've been listening to the new Black Dahlia, Verminous. It's really good. I've been getting into Code Orange. I know a lot of people don't like them, but I think they're very prog, and I like what they're doing as far as the modern production. Like, they're not scared to sample, and I really enjoy that for some reason.
Yeah.
And I've been checking out a lot of fusion bands. And, you know, like some old school bands like Gravedigger. I'll be looking forward to their next album, because I think it's like the 20th album or something like that. They've been around for 40 years. Jeez. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I can name drop, but I've been trying to get more into like mainstream metal. I'm really just trying to push. I'm really just trying to push that as far as the metal community. I want more people to check out, whatever, like who's the most current or whatever. But then I also like to sprinkle in people like you guys who are obviously like a hidden gem, and you guys are gonna blow up. So that's why I'm not really.
I don't know about that.
I'm not trying to badger you too much about the album, because I feel like you're gonna have a lot of interviews this year about how great the album is. I mean, I really do feel that way.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Thank you. Actually, you mentioned Code Orange. I thought this last album, I should probably listen to it more, but yeah, it sounds really good. Like the way that they combine like all the industrial elements with like stuff that sounds, I don't know, that like all the synthetic stuff with the stuff that sounds natural, like I think is like really graceful the way they do it. Like they keep, I liked how they're able to keep like a super committed sound. But yeah, I thought it was good. I thought this last album they've done was good.
Yeah.
So maybe I should have mentioned those guys when you asked me about my
you're
metal
good.
bands. Yeah.
I was gonna ask you because you said something, and I was like, oh, that sounds like Code Orange to me. I was like, are you?
Yeah. And actually, I think maybe what was the band that I mentioned? Conjure. They're another band that I think they draw from like different areas and kind of combine it in a really cool way. Yeah, I always love when bands do that, man. I like when I can't put my finger exactly on what kind of what their background is or what they listen to. That's always really cool to me. And if they do that and then they write good songs on top of that, then even better. But yeah, I'm gonna think of like 20 bands the second I get off this call with you.
I know, it's always like when you're on the spot, you're like, fuck, I can't make a band right now.
Exactly.
Like there's like this video on YouTube, and Jared Dines, and he's like calling people out wearing their band shirt, and he's like, name 3 songs. I'm like, I would fuck that up in a second.
I would
like,
too.
I could tell you 3 albums. I could tell you 3 songs.
Yeah, I'm usually not good with names anyways. Like even with bands I love, like I forget. Especially now with like I'm better if I get vinyl, because then I'll look at the artwork, I read the lyrics and stuff. But with Spotify, dude, I don't see how people remember there's so much content, so many song titles, man. It's like I can't remember this. Like I'm lucky if I remember the band's name,
Something that tripped me up on the new Nightwish. So have you heard it at all, or do you know about it?
No, I knew they put something out, but I haven't heard it. No.
Well, it's basically like a 2-part album, and the second part, it's human and nature, and the nature part is all instrumental. But the beginning of every song, it says the same shit. Like it's like, I don't know, it's some long phrase, and then it gives the song title. And so I was like, why the fuck did they do that? Because like I couldn't figure out like what I was listening to the whole time. Yeah. I had to wait for the whole shit to scroll across before I gave the song title. I was like, who the fuck thought of this? Like, I have no idea what I'm listening to. But
That's crazy, man.
It's good. That was the only shit I had to say about it. But
yeah. Did it seem like other people were complaining about the same thing?
Honestly, I'm not really sure. I haven't got the feedback yet. Maybe I have to get some people to check it out. But
yeah,
I did like a poll, and I was like, vote for what you guys want to hear next as far as the review. So I try to give my listeners that opportunity, I guess.
That's cool.
But yeah, thanks. All right, so I'm gonna end on one last topic. Do you have a lot of tattoos? Are you a tattoo guy?
Yeah, a little bit. I get every now and again. I get the itch to kind of go to the tattoo shop, get something done. So.
Do you have any funny ones or any?
Yeah, I've got one of my dog's teeth. I don't know if you can see it, but.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've got a little dog with he's got like a really bad underbite, so his bottom teeth are always sticking out. So I think I took a picture of him one day, and I was like, "Oh, that looks kind of cool. It looks like a fucking dinosaur fossil or something." So.
What kind of dog do you have?
He's just a little mutt. He's like I don't know what he is, like a Russell mutt. I just found him here at one of the shelters here in Atlanta like 3 years ago. So.
That's awesome.
He's not in this room, but he's with me. So. Yeah, makes it a little easier to be indoors all the time.
Yeah, I have a rescue dog myself. I think that's the way to go, man. Like, I don't see the point of spending all that money for a bred dog. I think it's kind of screwed up, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, my problem is I can't go to I can't go to these places and not pick up an animal, man. Like the day I think I picked him out like within just a few minutes. Like it's yeah, I hate going there and coming out empty-handed because I feel so sorry for most of those animals, you know.
Me too. Yeah, because they put them down a lot, and that's sad, man. They just dogs are great, man. But dude, so lastly, any final thoughts? Anything that you want to tell the viewers about your band, or anything you want to say before we head out?
No, I just want to thank you, man. Yeah, thanks for talking to me.
Yeah, dude.
It's a good time. I hope it, hope you're able to. You said you're working, right?
Yeah, I'm working right now. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
It's lots of food.
Yeah, but that's good. Able to stay busy, stay focused on something. Even doing this podcast is awesome. I think people need to stay occupied right now. So
yeah, for sure.
Anything you can do to be creative or do something good is awesome. But yeah, just hoping everybody's safe out there and staying in a good frame of mind. But yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate you doing this interview with me.
Yeah, dude, thanks so much. Like, I hit you guys up on Instagram. I just sent a message. I was like, yeah, your fucking new album is dope or whatever. And then someone hit me back and I was like, you know what, screw it. I was like, it would be so cool to have you guys on my podcast. And somebody agreed to it. I don't know who signed you up for this, but someone agreed to this.
It was good. It was good. Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I've been talking to Pablo, the guitarist of Irist. They just dropped their new album, Order of the Mind, which is out now, Nuclear Blast Records. I'll plug all the links below and everything that we talked about. Thanks again for all your time on the show.
Thank you, Seth.
Hope I can consider you a friend now, and
for sure,
I won't bother you guys too much on Instagram.
All good, man. Yeah.
All right.
Hopefully, be seeing you in the future, man.
Yeah. Take care. Stay safe. Right. Wash your hands.
Exactly. All right.
Well, that pretty much does it for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please like the video and subscribe. That way you don't miss a new episode of Native Diamond Podcast. And until I see you guys on a future video, shine on.